Okay, perfect. We are live. Happy Monday, everybody. Today is Monday. It's April 29th, 2024. It is almost May. 2024 is almost halfway done. I cannot believe what is happening, Lord. Lord, everything is going great. Like, I have a guest speaker tonight, and I want you guys to really lean in and listen. Grab your pen, grab your paper. We're getting ready to have a really cool conversation. And if there are questions, we will answer your questions. If you are watching this on my Facebook channel, then just type Facebook. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, then just type in YouTube so I know where you are and I can greet you properly. All right. Okay, so this is my amazing friend. He is an author and he is a speaker. He has a phenomenal community and it's called the Paid Speaker Partnership. That's why I have that scrolling at the bottom. I want you guys to absolutely connect with him after this conversation because he is somebody who's super positive and super inspiring. And you know that's what I'm all about in this community because we have so many things happening in the world that are not positive and not inspiring. So when you come across someone who's amazing, I tend to hold on to those people and really, really value those relationships. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and allow Jesse Cruz to take the stage. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for having me. It is an honor and a privilege to be here. What I get the opportunity to do is to help busy professionals increase their impact and their income from their ability to communicate stories to their particular audience. We do that through our coaching programs, our live events, and our community.
Awesome. And we met through a mutual Facebook friend. And so when I first got into the Zoom room with you, I was like, wow, this person is powerful. Like, he's super amazing. And you told me the story about your daughter, your baby girl, Faith. And that is literally what inspired me to join your community because I was like, whoa, this is a divine appointment. Like, there's some people that you meet and you're like, oh yeah, they're cool. And there's other people that you meet and you're like, God wanted us to meet. And so if you want to share a little bit about your story, your book, and how your baby girl Faith is changing the world.
Yeah, my wife and we were praying for a child, and it didn't happen for years. And then we were finally blessed with a baby girl. And when she was born, she was 4 months early, and she was 1 pound, literally could fit in the palm of my hand. Every single moment in the hospital, we never knew what would happen next. And then 42 days of her fighting for her life, she passed away. And during the most difficult point in my life, what got me through it is my faith, my family, but also writing my story down every single day that helped me cope and provided healing for me. And every single day I would write, I felt like I could come up with how I'm actually feeling and ideas on how to process my grief. And she is the one that is responsible for our entire business. So I tell people all the time is if this little 1 pound girl can cause this ripple effect of impact, just imagine what we can do as full grown adults if we keep fighting the way that she did every single day into our last breath and use that, even the most painful moments of our lives, if we take the time to take a lesson from it, what it can do.
Uh-oh, something just happened to the audio. I'm not able to hear you. Shoot. Hold on just
Can
a
you hear
second.
me?
Now I can hear you. Perfect. Just went out for a minute.
Okay. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, awesome. So, can you tell us how you turn that message into a business?
Yeah, so when I would write, I was like, well, you know what? I bet you if I keep writing and it's been therapeutic and helpful and healing to me, if I take the time to turn this into a book, I can reach more people rather than just putting it in a notebook where nobody's ever going to see it. And I decided to get a publisher and to get my book shared out to the world. And as I was getting the book published, I started to promote myself. See, when you're writing a book, you can have the greatest written book in the world, but if nobody knows it exists, it does not matter. It cannot reach nobody. It cannot impact a person. That's why it's important to market yourself, to promote yourself, to tell people about how great your message is, because it becomes your moral responsibility. If you believe that you have a message worth sharing, then you're supposed to share it with as many people as possible. And that's what I decided to do when I started to get the book published. I promoted it out on my social media platforms. I was telling everybody about it. I was talking about it all the time. And the book came out. And then all of a sudden, I was selling thousands of copies of books because I promoted it constantly. You don't accidentally sell thousands of copies of books. You have to be intentional if you want to do that. I was promoting it so much, people were sick of me. Like, Jesse, shut up already. You promote it every single day. I'm like, I know, because I believe in it that much that I'm going to tell the whole world about this message and this story. And from there, that evolved into people wanting me to speak. And I was like, well, I didn't really want to speak. I didn't have a plan to speak, but I got led into speaking. And when I got led into speaking, they started asking more and more. I was like, well, I probably should really invest into the right coaching and the right supports and community to learn how to speak, so I can impact more lives. And so that led into the coaching. And then I was like, well, what could we else could we do, right? That led into events. So now we get to host events all over the world, and then forming a community, because I thought to myself, I want to be able to serve people from all different avenues, all over the world in all different ways. But it all started with one book. Like, one book can build an entire business if you take the contents of that book and build products and services around your book. And your book, you can utilize your book chapters as a way to build a 12-week program. Like, for example, if you have a 12 chapter book, take those chapters and turn that into a 12-week course. That's what I did with one of my books, and I was able to build business relationships and partnerships and friendships from that. But it just started with one book. A book can transform your life if you learn how to leverage it the right way.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was like one of the things that I learned when I first started writing. I have 8 books now. 2 of them were anthologies. The other 6 I created on my own. And so the first book, I really didn't want it to be read because it was a memoir. It was personal about my life story with depression. And I didn't want to be known as the face of depression. So I didn't talk about it at all. But when people found out that I wrote a book, they were asking me, how do I write a book? How do I write a book? And I was like, oh man, I guess I should write a book about how to write a book. And so that's my moneymaker. That's the book that I turned into a course and a whole coaching program. And now I've got 2 communities on Facebook that are all based around the question, how do I write a book? Right. And so at this point, I've helped 50 people, and those people have come back. And the question is, okay, now how do I market and sell this book? I have a book, LT, it's out, it's awesome. And you're saying what I was saying, like, okay, you guys need to like talk about it. You need to go live, you need to share. And it's so funny because I created a Facebook group just for people to promote their books. And literally it's like crickets. It's like crickets. And there's 500 people in the main group. And I tell people every week, promote yourself, talk about your book, share your story. And it's like, I don't know what it is with people and being afraid to go live and to show up powerfully, right? How did you feel at the beginning of your journey when you were first going out there and getting opportunities? Were you scared? Like, what's your relationship with fear?
As I would say with most people, it's a complicated relationship. So, originally when I wrote my first book, I thought to myself, I don't really care if anybody reads it. I just want to be able to say I wrote a book, right? Yes. I want to be able to check that off the bucket list and say that I did it. And so I was like, well, I'll probably just share it with my family and a couple close friends. Like, that's all I, really anticipated, right? And then I remember when I got my first, they sent me just a couple of the copies of the book for me to look over. And what I literally did, I was like, I held it in my hand and I was like shocked. I said, I cannot believe I made this. Like, I'm so thankful for this. And so what I did was, and I didn't know what to expect. So I took a picture of the book cover the front cover and the back cover. Like, and I took a picture of it in one picture, so I had both of them next to each other. Took a picture of it and I posted it, and it was something along the lines of, "I'm finally a published author," right? And I just posted that, and then I just put my phone back in my pocket and went and watched a baseball game with my wife and my kids and didn't think nothing of it. All of a sudden, I pull my phone out later on in the evening, and I had the longest thread I've ever had, maybe on Facebook in my entire life at that time. And I was like, what's going on? And all these people, because like I didn't tell nobody I was doing this, right? So like nobody knew I was writing a book, like other than like my wife. And all of a sudden people are like, wait, Jesse's an author? You wrote this book? Who wrote that? There's no way you wrote that. Like all these people were like in disbelief, like you wrote a book? Like they couldn't even believe it. And then this is when it changed, when I was like, wow, this is like actually, there's actually people interested in what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden one of my buddies, he's like, I just bought a copy right on Amazon or something like that. Like, and I was like, wait, what? I didn't even ask them. And people just started ordering and ordering and ordering. Like, how do I get a copy? How do I get a copy? Do I buy it from you? Do I buy it from Amazon? How do you want me to buy it? And I'm just like, and I'm looking at I take my phone, I show it to my wife. I'm like, look at all these people. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and so, but I was like, but to me, I had a little bit of fear when I first got it, and I had to make a decision. I said, well, I have this book. I worked so hard on it for like 2 years. I think it was about 2 years of working on this. And then I got it, and I was like, if I don't post it, no one's ever going to know. And then I believe if you have a message worth sharing and you don't share it with people, what that means is that you're selfish. And I didn't want to be selfish and keep what I thought was something that could help the world and then keep it to myself. Because, for me, trying to be a people pleaser and wanting people to like me and worrying about people's opinions, I almost didn't do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. And if people are haters and they don't believe in me, that's okay. I didn't write that book for them anyways. Like I did this for me. Like I wanted the first book to help me, and then a few specific people in the world I didn't know would go on to help as many people as it did. And so I took the picture, posted it, and people are buying it. And I'm like, this is crazy. And so I was like, you know what? From this day, I think that book changed my relationship with fear forever, because it challenged me to put myself out there more and say, this is my message, and have a message worth sharing. And I think from there, like every time I want to do something new in our business, I can think back to that moment and thought about how that moment of courage, by putting myself out there, changed everything for my family. It changed everything for my business. So I believe we're just one courageous act away with our book from transforming our lives and then impacting people all over the world.
I love that. Two takeaways from what you just said. Number one, I love how you were just like casually posting and put it in your pocket, enjoyed the baseball game, whatever. Like some people are so stressed out and they're like checking their phone every 5 minutes, making like looking at their sales. Like, guys, live your life. I love how Jesse's like, I'm living my life. I'm hanging out with my family. Like, okay, that's pretty cool. That's the first takeaway. And then the second takeaway is you just never know who you're going to impact. And even your haters are going to end up buying it because they're nosy. What happened to you kind of happened to me. Like I didn't have an explosion of sales, but I did have an explosion of people on Facebook just asking questions, because I wasn't on Facebook at all. Before I wrote my book, I wasn't on social media. I was teaching in the classroom. I literally was afraid of social media, to be honest, because I heard all these stories from my teacher friends about, oh, they're going to hack you. Oh, people are going to steal your identity. Oh, all the little negative things that people were saying, I believed it. And so I really didn't do anything. When my book came out, I was scared. I was in a little box. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And then finally I was like, you know what? Summertime came. I didn't have much to do because I didn't teach during the summer. And I ran out of money. And I was like, girl, you better start promoting this book so you can make some money and you can share with people your story. And this can you'll see where this goes. So when I did start promoting, people from high school and college were like, girl, where the hell you been? Now we haven't heard from you in 20 years and you don't wrote a book? They're like, what? And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is a thing. And then it just went on and on and on from there. So thank you for sharing that story, because we could get caught up in our fear, man, and it could stop us. It could stop us from doing things that we need to do and stop being selfish, right? I like how you use that word selfish, because if we think about it, God gave us gifts and talents. And God gave us these gifts and talents to serve other people. And if we're not serving people, we're not, like, when I'm not serving people, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Like, if I'm not out here speaking and sharing and teaching, I'm just like, what am I doing? So I know there's people in the audience, and I see some eyeballs out here. I can't see your name. You guys tell me who you are, where you're from, where you're watching this, so I can give you a shout out. I see that there's people watching, but I can't see who it is. So they're loving this energy. They're loving our stories. They're loving our passion, because this is what we do. But you said something in your community. I'm a part of the paid speaker partnership community, y'all. I jumped in as soon as I met Jesse, because I was like, look, he's on a mission. He's doing some amazing things, and they're in alignment with what I'm trying to do. So I need to lock arms with this person and get into his community and get connected. And as soon as I got connected, I came to one of the Tuesday night meetings, and you were like, okay, guys, you did some teaching. You taught us, how to have a good message and a hook and all that. But the thing that you said that still resonates in my mind every day is you are one partnership away from doubling the income in your business. You're one partnership away from expanding your impact. And I was like, that is true. Because immediately when I connected with you and plugged into your community, I started getting connected and plugged into other people connected to you. And I was like, whoa, like, I knew networking was important. I knew it was probably going to happen. But the speed of how things just rolled for me, I'm just like, my mind is blown. Like, I'm not surprised or shocked. I'm just overwhelmed by the amount of love and support that I've received from your community. So I want to say thank you for that. Thank you publicly for doing what you do for people. And tell everybody where that quote came from, or where that thought came from, because I really want people to hear that, and I want them to internalize that, because it's real.
hmm It was something that I felt was impressed upon me, because every time that I expanded my network, I expanded my opportunities, right? So this comes from my real life personal experiences. The reason why anytime I'm getting any growth in my business is because I'm intentionally building relationships, right? And these can lead to some great partnerships and referrals and leads. And it's investing into yourself. I'll tell people all the time, you want to grow your business? Hire a coach. You want to grow your business? Invest into a community. You want to grow your business? Invest in going to an event. And you will see the ripple effect of making a commitment to invest into the future version of yourself. And so I've decided I try to make decisions based on the person I want to become, not the person that I currently am. Because the person I currently am may have these feelings of fear and worry and anxiety. But the future version of Jesse is looking back at me now and saying, you can do this. Come on. Like, I believe in you. And so I try to make decisions from a place of how can forming these relationships get me to that next level? And how can I help people get to the next level from the relationship? Because I believe that it's a win-win when we're here to serve and support one another at the highest level.
Yay. Okay, so I want to talk about your community, and I want you to share with people how you created it and how they can become a part of it. I put the name at the bottom, Paid Speaker Partnership. I know y'all like the word paid. That's one of the things that attracted me. I was like, okay, I want to be paid. And then speaker, I'm a speaker. So I was like, oh yes. And I love partnerships. So tell us how you started your community.
Yeah, so I realized that in the speaking world, people want to get paid to speak, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. There's a few different ways to get paid to speak, but one that gets overlooked is forming strategic partnerships. And so, well, even if you're not getting paid to go speak on a stage, by joining a particular community or working with a specific coach or going to an event, you can form a partnership that will get you paid, right? And so one of the things that we do in our community is we generate referrals and leads for one another and make intentional introductions. So although the speaker may not getting paid to speak on a stage, they're getting paid for speaking life and building relationships with people who can help them get to that next level. And so what we do is we create these introductions for people to say, hey, this is what I do. This is what I offer. Do you know anyone that would benefit from this product or service? And we would be like, well, yes, I do. Let me connect you with this person. And then all of a sudden, that person has a need that you can fill. Now you're getting paid for your ability to communicate what it is that you need. So it's not only just about being able to speak on a stage, which I work with speakers on that all the time, but it's also about when you're not on the stage, are you communicating, speaking in a way to people who could be potential partnerships that could eventually get you paid? And that's what I love to do, is to help connect people so they can get paid through networking and doing intentional partnerships in our community.
Wow. Okay. So that is about being authentically who you are on the stage and beyond the stage, right? Like that's just who you are as a person. Your character counts. And you, if you're a quality person and you are out here doing good in the world, people will connect you with other people who can offer you opportunities. I like that. That is completely overlooked. That is totally not talked about, or not taught and not talked about enough. So with having said all of that, I don't see any questions. I still see people's eyeballs on here. I can't tell where they are or who they are, but that's okay, guys. We know that you're here. We know that you're watching. Thank you for being here. The last question I want to ask you is, for people who just got their book done and they are not quite sure what to do, they're thinking about maybe they might want to speak, maybe they might want to coach. They don't really know. They're just like, I wanted to get it out. Like you said, I wanted to check this off of my bucket list of just being an author. And now I'm an author. What would you say to them is their next best step now that their book is done? It's out.
Mhm. So I've learned about myself, and I think it's true for a lot of authors, that the book writing process can be isolating, right? So you're by yourself when you're writing. So it can kind of almost like be kind of a antisocial activity because you kind of need to be alone and in peace and quiet. Right. And so I think a lot of times authors can stay in that mode of just being alone and quiet and by themselves and away from everybody. And then there's this block. It's like a mental block. They've written the entire book, it's published, it's ready to come out, and they still stay in quiet mode. And if you're trying to sell books and bring awareness and marketing and sales to your book, that quiet solitude that used to do while the book writing process no longer works when it comes to the book selling process. And
Oh,
that's why I believe that hiring the right kind of coach, a speaker coach, whether it's me or it's somebody else, hire a coach who can help you with the strategies and tactics to communicate your message about your book, because you're so used to just writing and not speaking. So, and then the authors wonder, why aren't my books selling? Because you haven't told nobody about it. You thought getting a book out was writing it. That's only half of it. The other half is marketing it and selling it. And it's going to take the right person in your life to give you the strategies and tactics and how to communicate effectively to sell your books. And that's the next best thing. I think any author is to get the right speaking coach, learning how to speak on physical stages and virtual stages about their message. And they will reach way more people by investing into the right coaching to help them sell as many books as humanly possible. Because I believe if the author truly believes in that their book can make a difference in the world, it is their moral obligation to tell as many people as humanly possible.
I love that. Thank you so much. I love how you just pulled out the belt at the end. You were like, what? You got to tell somebody about it. I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, clients, don't make me pull out my belt on you. LT got this belt. If y'all don't start talking, you don't start speaking up, I'm going to get you. So now they've heard it from me. They've heard it from you. And now the last thing, I know I said the other one was the last question, but this is the last question. How can people get a hold of you? How can they connect with you? How can they get your book?
Yeah, so my name is Jesse Cruz, right on Facebook or Instagram, Jesse Cruz Speaks. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. All my books are on Amazon. You can type in my name right on Amazon. I have a few books. One of them is called Live Your Dash, Discovering the 8 Steps to Freedom. Another one is Losing Faith, Finding Hope. And then the other ones are like collaboration books I've done. But that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Feel free to send me a DM. I do get back to people, even if it takes a few hours, I will get back in 24 hours. That's my standard. I get back to everybody at some point, and making sure that if they need support, right, they need any help with anything, if I can be the one to help them, I talk about how I work with them. And if I'm not the one, I refer them to people who I believe can help them, right? That's why the partnership is so important, because no matter what, when someone comes into our community, I can guarantee this: I will send you somebody who can help you and you can help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Coach Jesse Cruz. I appreciate you. And if there's anything else you want to say, go ahead and say it. If not, we're going to go ahead and call it a night because I don't see any questions in the comments. You have anything else you
Yeah.
want to say?
Well, on the topic of writing your book, you become a walking billboard for your book. So today it was ironic because I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to make this opportunity happen today, but I did. So I was actually wearing the shirt, if you could see right here, right? So
Yes.
that is my wife's book. I had put the shirt on today because I was like, I just wanted to promote her around town. And people were like, hey, what is up with that? Tell me about that. And I'm like, it's my wife's book. I'm like, oh my gosh, tell me more. So it led into conversation. So I literally had my wife's book cover, went to the t-shirt shop, had them put the cover on the front of a shirt and just wear it around. And it's interesting to see how that gets conversations going, right? And so sometimes you can just get your merchandise right, and you can get the merchandise to do talking and selling for you. So then from there, I just follow up and say, this is how you order the book, and there it is. And if you have a message worth sharing, make sure you promote it out to as many people as you can.
Yes, thank you so much. Wow, incredible human being, amazing author, amazing dad, and phenomenal husband. Look at that. Look at that, yo. Show that shirt again so everybody can see that. 90% of my community is women, so it's important. Warrior women turning life lessons into legacy. That's what I'm talking about. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Coach Jesse. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate what you do in the world, and I appreciate your whole movement. So have a wonderful evening, and I will see you tomorrow in our Zoom.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.